Alright guys, welcome to a little intro video for World of Warships. Alright, this game is pretty awesome. It's very uh, easy to play, but hard to understand, so I'm going to try to make that a little bit easier for you guys. Alright, so here we are at the main screen. We're in the port. As you can see, I got a lot of ships going on down here on the bottom. We'll get to that. Some stuff you can see up here is Captain, a whole bunch of details, credits, doubloons, stuff about battling, modules, tech tree, profile, challenges, ranks, stuff over here, this stuff. We're going to get to all that. But first we're going to look at just this top middle thing up here. So this little division guy here, you can get divisions with other players. And, you know, that way you can team up and play with people. So that's that. This is your battle screen here. So you can fight with people against the computer, fight randomly against other players. You can do ranked, but you need to be in a certain tier of ship, tier 6. Team battles, which is on and off throughout the day. There's certain times it's on and off. And then this is kind of new, scenarios. So that's where you literally just do a mission with people to complete objectives. I've not played scenarios yet, so maybe we'll do one of those in another video to check it out. So let's just select random battle for now. When you're ready to battle, you click battle, but you have to start with your ships. So when you start this game, you get to basically pick from the different tech tree one of the basic level 1 cruisers from these different groups over here on the left. Right now you got Japan, USA, USSR, Germany, and UK. Now these are not the full fleets. I'm kind of defaulted on UK because I have the Black Swan selected, so that's why it's up there. It's level 1. You'll get one of these for free. And then we go to German tech tree real quick here. Wait for it to load. There's Hermelin is their tier 1 cruiser. And you can see the Germans, they just recently added battleships. Some of you may know Bismarck down here. That's like the most famous battleship in all of history. And Tirpitz probably right up there with it. When you see premium ships, these are ships that you buy with your own money. All the rest of the ships you can earn by playing the game. So that's kind of where free-to-play kind of breaks off. You can spend money for some ships, and these ships you can only get by spending money. So we'll move on to USSR if I click the right one. There we go. Orland's their cruiser. They now have destroyers and some premium ships. And then, of course, USA. USA and Japan are the most fleshed out tech trees. They have carriers, battleships, cruisers, destroyers, and some premium ships. You can see some carriers and all sorts of stuff here. So we'll go through. Erie's their Tech 1 cruiser. And then finally, last but not least, Japan. Yamato, there's another battleship you've probably heard before. It's probably the other one of the 3 most famous battleships, besides maybe the Missouri, which I don't even think's on here. And theirs is the Hashidat. Oh man, I would butcher any of these names in here on these. Yeah, I don't even want to start. So you'll pick one tier 1 cruiser from one of the tech trees. If I were you, I'd do some research on these tech trees and figure out who you want to play first. When I started, I picked the Erie, and it had nothing to do with its stats. I believe the USSRs might actually be the best, but I haven't looked at the new UK cruiser tech tree yet. But I picked it because I wanted to get into the United States battleship line. I wanted to flesh out those battleships and cruisers, and so that's why I did that. I did that for a while, and then eventually I actually switched over to German stuff, and that's just mainly because some of these higher level guys, they got torpedoes and stuff in the cruiser line, and that's just really fun on the higher levels to be a cruiser and have torpedoes, because you can basically be a destroyer and a cruiser at the same time, and so that's kind of fun. And then also, I did that when I heard these German battleships were going to come, because I want to get the Bismarck, because I love the history of that ship. It's really fun. So pick whichever one is, you know, it's your favorite country, or you like the tech tree the most, whatever works best for you. You just kind of flush these guys out and play over time. The way you do it is actually get these guys is through experience points, and we'll get to that in just a second. So let's go back to the port again real quick here. This takes us back to the screen you're familiar with. So now if I click modules, whatever ship I have selected, it's going to break down and show me on the left here all the different things that I need and how many research points they cost or experience points they cost. Experience points are earned in battle, and there's two types. This little gray star here is your ship experience. It's the ship experience you've earned just on your vessel. It does not carry over anywhere. And then right here is your free experience. You also earn that as well. There's some ways to get bonuses of that. Free experience you can use, it's over in the top here. You can actually use that on any ship across all ships, so that's pretty nice. It'll tell you any upgrades, and it'll also tell you how much it is to get the next ship, which, if you were in the tech tree, you could select any ship and see how much they cost and what they've got going on. So see here, I've selected something that I've not researched or purchased, but I can still look at it. So I can still take this and zoom out and see all the cool stuff it's got, and go around it and see everything. You know, pretty neat. And then I can even go up to the next one and look at it. And I can notice here there's a couple upgrades that this ship has that'll make it better. Usually gunfire control system usually increases your range of all your guns in your main battery normally. And then of course hull is usually how much damage you can take, maneuverability, things like that. Your weapons sometimes upgrade. Your engine propulsion upgrades are for top speed, things like that. So as you can see here, I've got 3 German ships, 4 US ships, and a British ship. This British one just was given to me for free. I didn't even buy it. I don't know why I have it. And the game just was like, here you go. But I've got the Langley carrier. I've played a little bit. I got it upgraded. See, I got some planes and stuff here. This is a destroyer for the US, the Clemson. It's pretty good. It's got some torpedo launchers on the side. You can see here on both sides, these guys. Very deadly against ships. You get all those torpedoes into anybody, they're pretty much toast. And you can see the tier rating here. The tier 5 battleship for the Americans, the New York. I got some more work to do on this one before I can get up to the New Mexico class, which is the next class up. Excuse me. And this is the Omaha. It's a cruiser for the Americans. This one's pretty good. The only problem with cruisers is they're usually like tissue paper, so do not get caught out in the open where a battleship or multiple other cruisers can lay into you, because they will just literally destroy the crap out of you. I've got 2 German cruisers. I'll just show you the Nuremberg, because the Königsberg is the tier 5, the Nuremberg is the tier 6. I've got a permanent camouflage on this guy, which is pretty nice. They've added a couple upgrades to this for hull, mainly because people complained about how much of a tissue paper ship these are. You can literally get touched by gunfire and you're just immediately gone. So there's a couple upgrades you can put there. I really like playing this ship. It is very, very powerful. I've had many battles go through where I've taken out 3 or 4 ships in a short time, just because of the torpedoes and the guns on this thing are just great. The only thing you get into tier 6 stuff is you get into the really higher level battles. And then last but not least, I believe this is the second, yes, it's the second German battleship. I really don't like this battleship because of the gun placements, but it's necessary to play some of these ships in order to get the ones you want. So from what I've played so far, these guns are pretty nice just because there's 5 of them. You usually outgun some of the other ships you run into, or you can at least match them. The range is a little bit limited, but that's okay, because you usually, by the time you get into range, everybody's shooting at everybody else that's in front of you. Normally the battleships will start shooting at cruisers, and you'll be free to engage other ships whenever you finally get into the fight. Battleships are kind of slow, but they're really good once they get into the fight. Like I said, these awkward turret placements here usually means you can only get 4 guns onto any engagement, which is kind of a negative in my book, but every now and then I've gotten that 5th turret to somehow line up and shoot, and that can really make the difference in a fight. So that's kind of a little bit about the ship types. I'll go to the tech tree to kind of flesh that out a little bit more. So we'll go to USA just because they've got everything. Aircraft carriers are going to sit in the back, they're going to hide, they're going to run away from the action because they're really easy to kill, but they are also very lethal in a fight. Some of these aircraft carriers have torpedo bombers, dive bombers, a mix of both. They also have regular fighters to take out other enemy aircraft. If you get a good carrier player, or if you're very good at playing the carrier, you can usually get a couple kills, score a lot of hits with torpedoes and bombs, and that does a lot to help your team. I will say it's a lot of micromanaging. You're not really driving your ship and fighting your ship, you're more flying your planes from a mini-map kind of setup. So if that's what you're into, definitely go for carriers. If you want to get in the action and kind of blow stuff up, then every other ship is what's for you. So starting off with destroyers, very small, very hard to detect. They can throw up smoke screens. They can do an engine boost. They have lots of torpedoes. Usually that's their main weapon. If you want to run and gun and shoot a lot of guns, don't get a destroyer. It's all about the torpedoes. Big mistake a lot of destroyer captains make is they go into a fight and they will start shooting their main guns from inside their own smoke cloud, and that reveals your position. And then people just absolutely rain death on you. It's so easy to kill a destroyer. If you're a cruiser or a battleship, it's just one salvo from a battleship or a couple well-placed salvos from a cruiser, and you're just toast. So it's all about the torpedoes, and we can show you torpedoes in a little bit. Cruisers are kind of like the middle ground. They don't have a lot of armor, but they can deal a very large amount of damage, especially if they've got some torpedoes on there or if your guns are really good. The nice thing about the American cruisers, they're heavily armored compared to the other ones, so a little bit less of a tissue paper ship, a little bit more of a damage dealer, which is kind of nice. And then of course battleships are your tanks. They're slow, but their guns do a ton of damage, and the battleships themselves can take a ton of damage. Your cruisers usually have support abilities like cruisers do. They can send out scout planes or like a sonar to detect torpedoes faster. Your battleships, they have an ability to just damage repair. They can literally just bring back a lot of their HP if they take a big hit. So hard to kill, lots of damage that they can take. They're a tank, and of course they can deal a ton of damage. So it usually takes at least one battleship to take another battleship out, or a really good destroyer captain to sneak up on somebody and take one out. In a straight up fight, you'll need 2 or 3 cruisers to take down one battleship if there's no torpedoes involved, just guns. Destroyers they just avoid battleships like the plague unless they're really going in for a torpedo kill, because like I said, one salvo from a battleship will take out a destroyer. And then of course that pretty much covers everything except some of the premium ships, but they kind of all fall in line with everything. They're just a little bit different. So we are going to click the exterior button here on the ship. It's going to show us some things here. This is the last thing we haven't covered, is camouflages, which some you can get gifted to you, some you can buy. Some you can buy for credits, some you can buy for doubloons. Doubloons you actually purchase with in-game, not through in-game currency, but through real money. So that's another way you can buy stuff for this. Some ships have some different stuff going on. Signals and flags, they all kind of do different things. Camouflages generally help you stay hidden from the enemy. You can get more experience points. Signals kind of give different bonuses to your ship. Some of my favorite, which I don't think I have any of right now. Let's see if it'll load up here. 300% free experience, which is awesome. More experience there. Let's see if this is one. Max speed, that's really good if you're in a battleship or a destroyer. There's a lot of these, cause of flooding and stuff, but you get benefits and, negatives. There's some that, reduce the amount of damage your ship takes from critical hits. Some of them is like 100% less risk of your magazine exploding. The one nice thing about these games, I should say this game, is it's a little bit more realistic in how ships take damage. So I'm gonna go over here to some of this. So the way these ships take damage is very realistic. So we'll start off with concealment though here. So we're gonna get into this information tab. So 14.2 kilometers detectable by sea, such and such by air. So it shows you, how easily concealed you are or not easily. Maneuverability is going to give you top speed, turning radius, rudder shift time. This is important because like in real life, it takes a while for the rudder to turn from one side to the other, and that's what this is going to tell you here. 13 seconds to get back to the middle from hard left, basically. So these things turn very slowly. They have a large turning radius, and their max speed is not really that high. That's actually pretty good for a battleship, though. AA defense is going to show you all the different guns and their sizes. The more of these you've got, the better you're defended from carrier attacks, but this is not going to save you, and we'll go over some of that later in another video. Artillery is going to give you your main and secondary armaments and your firing range. This is important because when you're in battle, you can usually see ships ahead of you or around you if they've been spotted by your allies, and you can also see how far away they are. So this will let you know, maybe you're on the other side of an island coming up and you see a battle on the other side. Well, if everybody's 18 kilometers out, maybe you don't want to go around that island yet because they might be able to shoot you, but you can't shoot them. So that's kind of something to think about. And then, of course, this is your main armament there. Last but not least, survivability. It's your hit points, your armor, and torpedo protection. So it's how much damage your armor will absorb of a torpedo coming in. So this is very important information, but more than that, we're going to click armor layout. This is really going to give us a lot of information here. So, alright, so there is, actually I'm just going to hide all of this real quick so we can see it all individually. So, here we go. So the last one over here, vital parts of the ship. So that's your engine room, things like that. Those are that armor there. And you add to that main battery armaments. You can see those there. That's the armor they got, and this color scheme will let you know, it goes from such to such, and you can actually see the different colors. It'll tell you what each one's armor rating is, and it'll highlight them at the same time, where they are. So you can see which stuff is really protected. Now these are so well protected because that's your magazine. That's where all your ammo is. If one of those gets hit and takes an actual hit, your whole ship's going to blow up. Sorry, it'll reset sometimes. Next up is your deck armor. Also casemate, but more of like your deck. So rounds coming in from above and from the side are going to hit this armor. And then also, you've got some armor here around the belt, which protects you against torpedoes and things like that as well. So you can see this light blue here. The deck itself is very light, so if someone drops in a shell from a good angle, it'll penetrate through and go deeper into the ship. Then, of course, you add your armor on your superstructure. And then last but not least is the plating around the ship that provides protection against torpedoes and shells and other things. So you can see here, these will be very good for torpedoes. It's only 25 millimeters thick, but then behind that is the, if I can get it to go away, the belt armor, which will protect even more on the waterline against torpedoes. So in this ship, if you're going to take a hit with a torpedo based on this armor scheme, don't take one to the front or to the back, take one right in the middle. Take it right straight in what would be the gut of the ship, because that's where the most armor's at. And that's kind of how this armor layout helps you when you're looking at it. Look for the deepest, darkest red colors and know that that's where you can take the most damage, but also those are usually the most vital parts. So don't intentionally try to get your gun turrets shot, but in this case, right along here in the belt where the torpedo bulge is, that's where you want to take a torpedo hit. So if you know it's inevitable you're going to get hit with a torpedo, make sure it happens right in here, because that's where it's going to do the least amount of damage. I've seen plenty of people who, maybe I was dead and I was watching their screen. They tried to avoid a torpedo by turning into it or away from it or something like that. And then the torpedo ended up hitting the nose of the ship and destroying them. But if they had just kept doing what they were doing and let the torpedo hit the side, they would have survived. So that's how your armor works. You want to pay close attention to that and kind of see what it's doing for your ship. So in order to do a real quick thing, oh, by the way, this port is really cool. This is a Halloween port. I don't know if you guys have been seeing this in the background. There's a castle up there with some crows and some stuff here. A little Skull Island. I got my little support ship here. There's like a ghost ship in the background. It's all green and foggy. That's kind of cool. You can actually change ports up here. This one's weird. It's like futuristic, Japanese looking. Philippines, the Black Sea, this Halloween one, St. Petersburg, random middle of the ocean, New York City. This is more of like a classic New York City. And this is somewhere in, I want to say Japan, maybe? And then Hawaii. But Hawaii got this little premium signal here. Only premium members can go to the port in Hawaii, so only they can see this port because they're special and they pay money to play a free-to-play game. So I'm not that kind of guy, though. I don't pay money if it's free to play. I just play it, enjoy it, and don't worry about the rest. So we're going to show you guys a battle from what your perspective would be as a new person. Having joined, you got a tier 1 ship. I'm going to get rid of that armor layout. As you can see, my armor was terrible on this ship. I'm so going to die. I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview of some things in a battle, and then we'll call this video done. So we're going to go and see what happens here. And hopefully Matchmaking will cooperate and get me in there real quick. So here you go, this is Matchmaking. It's going to tell you how many of each type of ship is in the queue. It's going to tell you what your ship is. Down here it's going to show this little loading guy. Excuse me. And it's going to tell you how many people are in the queue, how long you've been waiting. Some information, if you're a gamer, you should be used to. And it usually doesn't take this long. 26 people in the queue. We should already have a match by now. There we go. When this guy comes up, you're usually getting into a match. So I'm going to do a little bit of intro on ship controls, how to use your guns, zooming in, zooming out, and very basic tactic video. I can tell you guys right now, tactics are way more important than what you're in. What ship you have versus how you use your ship is completely different. Plenty of times I've gone into a fight like this. Well, not really like this, but plenty of times I've gone into a fight where there was superior ships to mine. I was outnumbered, or I turned the corner around an island and there was 2 enemies and I was just one, and I won the fight just by tactics. So here we go. Alright, so you start looking at your ship, you zoom all the way out using your mouse button.
Battle starts.
WASD is going to control your ship speed. So if you look in the bottom left, my ship speed now just went up to full. Using W and S, I can take it back down. If I press M for the autopilot, this takes me to this map. This is the map where people actually play their carriers, because this is how you play carriers from this map. I can also autopilot if I want to. Using D and A, I can turn right and left respectively, or starboard and port if you're really super into that kind of accurate stuff. Shift is going to zoom me in here, and I can also, in this, I can zoom all the way back out using the mouse button, but Shift is kind of a quick zoom. Typically I'll go in and I'll click once out, just, I don't know, it gives me a better shooting feel, I guess you could say. Alt is going to show you your range of what you're looking at. It's also going to show you the range, name, and type of ship that are around you, so I can see that information goes up and down using the Alt key. That's pretty much it. I mean, there's a couple other, you can hit enter to chat, use the tab to change to all and whatever. You can do things like that, but that's really not necessary. What you really want to focus on is just the fighting, straight up. That's what you want to focus on. That little mountain symbol that comes up, if you see it right there, that shows me I'm going to shoot something. I'm shooting at a mountain, basically. I'll hit a mountain if I pull the trigger. Let me see if I can kill this guy. Nope, he's slow. So here's another. My range is about 8 kilometers, 7.99. So when I see somebody's at 8 kilometers, like this guy, I can shoot at him. Oh, X locks you onto a target. So if I want to look at a different target, I hit X. But in this case, I'm looking at that guy. So this is the part that's you're gonna have to get used to, because a lot of these people aren't gonna know how to shoot. You're gonna lead your target a little bit, pay attention to which direction they're moving. Shoot for the water line, shoot for the superstructure, depending on what type of ammo you're using. Shoot ahead of them instead of behind them, things like that. Just kind of pay attention to what you got going on. I just realized my little recording thing is in the middle of my mini-map. It's a terrible spot to be. Notice it said hit the Citadel. I did a lot of critical damage to that guy, and he just got destroyed there. Ooh, let's see if I can pick off a kill right here. Get some extra points. Nope, he got killed already. Alright, so we're going to go for this guy then. Citadel hits is when you hit the critical areas of the ship we were talking about before that are heavily armored. When you get those hits, it does a lot of damage to the enemy. I'm missing really bad right now because this guy stopped moving. I don't know what I'm doing here. You can see just laying shots in, trying to get him right at the water line. I lost an AA gun, but whatever, that's no big deal. That guy's dead. Oh, shooting at me, this guy. Okay, so I'm gonna turn here. Lay some shots into this guy. See there, I hit the Citadel, did like 1,800 damage. That's really good. Alright, now I'm really gonna focus on this guy because he's been laying into me. Ooh, he hit my Citadel, I think. Yep. It's okay, I got his twice just now. Notice the angle of my ship to his. Try not to present a full broadside because that's really how you die in this game. Presenting your full broadside to the enemy. This guy's being dumb, he's not even moving, so he's totally gonna die. If I don't kill him, I'll be embarrassed. There we go. Okay, good.
Enemy cruiser sunk.
I'm probably gonna die pretty soon here, but that's okay because I've gotten lots of hits on people. Probably missed that shot. Yeah, I think we're good. Hitting an indicator there that I'm probably gonna hit an island. That's a no-no. Don't run into the land. Yep, there we go. So, see, I eventually died, but taking the fight to the enemy, not a bad way to go. Alright, another thing you can learn is control. Lets you free your mouse up so you can do things like that. Alright, now I've switched over to somebody else's view. Let's see. This guy's way too out of the fight. Let's see who's over here. Wow, I'm pretty much like one of 2 people that actually got into the fight here. I think this will be in a good spot here. This is really the only action we got. What's this guy? Alright, so this guy's in the US ship. This is what I started on. This US ship's actually pretty good. And let's see, what is he shooting at? Oh, he's shooting at the ship that I was in. That's one of the ones I was in. Black Swan. Yeah, so he's actually doing pretty good dodging here. Stay moving is the key. The reason this guy is still alive right now is because he is moving. He took a couple hits, but if he had been sitting still, he'd be dead right now. So that's another key thing. I'm glad that guy clicked over to this guy. He was moving. That's a very important thing to do. Oh, this guy's not doing anything. No, that guy was doing something. Got shot up. Oh, here we go. This is the Russian? Yeah. I don't even know what he's shooting at. Yeah. Stay moving. Don't stand still. That's how you die. There we go. This is the Japanese Tier 1. guys are engaging at 7 kilometers, which is seems like a lot when you first start playing, but at tier 6 and higher, you're usually engaging at 15 plus kilometers. If you're at 8 kilometers, you're probably about to die. Something to really learn is to pay attention to how your ship is moving versus where your enemies are, turning and speed, all very crucial to survival. So we can get on this action here. This close in. Oh, that was good. Boom. That guy got destroyed. Yep. So he's pretty much out of the fight because he's just about dead. Let's see if I can figure out who's shooting where. Oh, here we go. Follow this shell out and see. Yeah, this is very poor shooting. That guy's probably outside of his range. He's shooting at him still. See how this guy's on fire and his fire just went out? There's a repair ability feature that I didn't really get to go over because I died. But if you ever catch on fire, that's what you can do there. I'm getting a little closer now. Oh, this one might actually hit. Haha, look at that. Good shot. Alright, let's go see who else. Oh, this might be pretty. Alright, game. It doesn't like me right now. There we go. Alright, don't do that either. Don't run into your teammates. Well, this guy's not in good shape. See if I can help my team.
Received. I'm on it.
Pretty much everyone on my team has no health. Maybe I shouldn't have told them to rush in there, but you know what? This dude just sitting here behind the island is being a pansy. I cannot stress enough how much of a team game this is. What is this guy's name? Oh man. See them. I mean, we're winning by points. I don't know if you guys can tell that up here. 535 to 280. We're winning by points, and we have more ships than them. Most of our guys are almost dead, so that's kind of the problem. Oh, he died. Ooh, he got a good hit on that other guy, though. I wonder how this ship sinks. I didn't really pay attention to how mine sank. Yep, there goes one of them. Oop. Nose first. These ships usually sink 1 or 2, 3 different ways. Let's see what's going on over here. these people on my team, I tell you what. 42 health, wow. Guys, I don't think there's much more to cover in this video here. I just really want to see how this battle ends, and I think you do too. Can I get on this guy's view? Yes, I can. Let's start shooting and watch his shots. Nope. Oh, someone got him. Close. Oh, somebody got him. Oh, get him. They're both there. Get him. Look at that. Those are perfect shots right there. Those are exactly where they need to be. This is going to get him right here. Ooh. Done. Toast. Alright. One to go. Ooh, there we go. One shell. Not bad. These shells are flying so far that I have to... going right back and forth to the ship here. There we go. Nice shooting. I wonder if this guy's played before. See how he's leading the target? His shells are flying right where the guy's going to be. There you go. That's it. Game ender right there. Alright, so here we go. This is the end of the game. You get credits, points, or sorry, ship experience, free experience, and it tells you what all you did. I inflicted this much damage. I had that many hits to the Citadel. I had that many times I hit somebody. I destroyed one person. This is a little bit because sometimes, like, you only get this if you fire the actual shot that killed the ship. Sometimes you can do 99% of the damage and get none of the credit, so... Well, I say that. You get credit over here, but not destroyed credit, so... you could battle on. We're just going to go back to port and wrap up this video. We're not going to worry about all these details. We'll get into that stuff later. So I'm going to show you guys real quick. We're going to go to the tech tree. And lo and behold, I can now research this ship. What I'm going to do is I'm going to research it. Yes. Just going to take those research points out of the Black Swan that I have. But I don't have an available ship slot. I'd have to purchase one. Or, well, actually, no, I'm sorry. I have a ship slot. If I didn't, I'd have to purchase one, or I'd have to sell a ship. So in this case, I'm just going to purchase this ship. Here we go. We have a couple options here. So, I'm going to skip Naval Academy and all that stuff. I'm going to go straight to purchase ship. There's a reason I'm going to do that. Okay. I'm going to go to this ship. I'm going to right click. I'm going to sell. Oh, sorry, it didn't work there. I'm going to go to sell. Let me sell the ship. There we go. And there's an option here. Send commander to reserve or dismiss. Well, I am going to let him go to the reserve. I'm going to hit yes. Now I'm going to go to this new one here, and I'm going to go to my commander, and I'm going to just kind of click him here. He has no experience, no points, or anything. But then I have this guy, who I can put on there and kind of get him more and more experience. So I'm going to assign him to this. Yes. Then I'm going to give him this Naval Academy here, which is going to reduce the amount of time that he doesn't earn experience. And then I'm going to start retraining. You have to do this every time you switch captains. Now this guy, I'm going to right click and dismiss. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking, and I only do this within ship types, so cruiser, stay with cruiser, destroyer with destroyer, so on and so forth. My first cruiser captain is going to be my only cruiser captain all the way up through the tech tree for all my ships. The reason I do that is because these guys will themselves level up. So if I go over here to my battleship, you can see Thomas Shaw here. He has he's leveled up to this. He's got 3 points that I can spend on any one of these things. and that's kind of how you keep your commanders and level them up instead of having to constantly retrain and do all sorts of stuff. So I could buy something here, but I'm not going to because I really don't know what I'm going to buy. And that's really the last thing I needed to show you guys is just commanders, moving them from one to the other. So again, if you like this video, if this game seems interesting to you, I'm going to get some more videos up, and I'm also going to include a link. If you go to the link that I'm going to have below, you can actually get a nice little bonus for starting this game. Once you play it and fight in your first battle, you'll get something. And then also, once you reach a certain level, it'll give you a free ship. That's actually really good. I don't even have the ship. It's a premium ship, so that'll be nice. So if this interests you, go find my other videos on my channel. Subscribe to me. I'm going to put some more up. Also, click that link if you don't already play this game. Click it even if you've been gone for 3 months or more and want to get back into it, because you can still get that same bonus. It's lots of awesome things to be had there. So don't forget that, and maybe I'll see you guys on here.